Hey guys, so back again. This time I was supplied by the lovely comments below in my second to last video, the one featuring Antonio Subretz. The lovely video that he had stolen was from Phuket World, or Phuket Word, I think. Obviously, a very enthusiastic flat earther. I've basically clicked on a video. Let's see what we have. Let's get into it. Thanks for all the subs. Please be sure to share and subscribe and hit the notifications. I'm going to try and get a video a week. So yeah, let's see what Phuket Word has to say. Okay, let's get into the video. I've skipped through a little bit of nonsense because he wasn't talking for the first 2 minutes. So let's hit that familiar intro. Okay, let's hit that familiar intro.
Hello, flat earth researchers, debaters and debunkers. Is that a bulge I see before me? You see that horizon? Okay, that is not a bulge of water.
You're right, it's absolutely not a bulge of water. It's the world curving away from you. It would go down away from you.
Rising up in front of me. I'm on a very steep hill near Patong in Phuket. To show you, I mean, the top's just up there. I filmed this before, but I've got to drive this point home for those people who continue to insist, without testing it for themselves, that the horizon doesn't rise to eye level. It does.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't rise to eye level. That's ridiculous. You are rising and looking down on it from a certain point. Your eye level is just where your eyes look to the furthest point. That horizon line, that's where that is. It's nothing to do with the horizon raising up. You understand how ridiculous that is?
Yeah, and as I've demonstrated before, if this was a physical hump of curvature or a bulge or whatever you want to call it, then it would be higher than eye level. You understand? If you are looking...
No, because you don't understand. The curve isn't curving up and away from you. You are at the top of that bulge, as you call it. You're at the top. Where you're stood, you're on top at that moment in time. So everything is going away from you. Do you understand? You're not stood behind looking up. You're stood on the top looking down. Or like forwards. The world is always going away from you.
Into a physical bump, it is higher than eye level. But what happens when you look at a horizon, as you come up above the brow of the hill, that horizon, wait for the bike, is right there at eye level. And as you come down towards the sea, it remains at eye level. And everything, for example, these posts up here, the horizon will come up and down depending on your height, because the horizon stays at eye level and your relative height changes to those posts, yeah? Anyone can make these observations and realize that the horizon is just something that is indicating to us that the surface is flat.
Word salad.
It tells us it's flat, okay? There is no need to go on about drops in horizon. It's just a ridiculous argument, because if you're talking about a drop, I mean, look how fuzzy that horizon is. It's not very clear. If I was down on the beach and I was low to the surface, it would be a very...
It's like it's further away than it was a minute ago when you were down by the sea, because you've got higher up. You're looking through more atmosphere and more... No, let's carry on.
Distinct, clearly defined horizon, but the higher you get, the more air and everything is in between you and the distant...
Okay, so you actually know what's going on then? So you're just pretending to be stupid?
The distance that you can see, so it just becomes fuzzy and blurry, yeah? And this is just common sense observations that anybody can make, but people still come along with their ridiculous, childish denial, and it's so obvious that all they are doing is defending a belief, because they absolutely refuse to look. It's like...
Because dare anyone defend a belief? I'm pretty sure that's what Christians do, what Muslims do. much less forcible. You know, dare anyone defend something that they believe to be true with evidence, which is something that other beliefs don't do. They just tell us to read a book.
People, it's like when you're a kid and you think there's a monster under your bed, and you're there quaking under the covers, but you don't dare to look under the bed. It's only when you look under the bed you realise there is no monster. Flat Earth is the monster under the globehead's bed, and they're just too afraid.
He's trolling me now, right? Let's just take one more listen to that.
Quaking under the covers, but you don't dare to look under the bed. It's only when you look under the bed you realise there is no monster. Flat Earth is the monster under the globehead's bed.
So the flat Earth isn't real, is what you're saying? The flat Earth doesn't exist, and the person on the bed, who's the globe Earth, who you said does exist, is the... You're absolutely trolling me.
And they're just too afraid to look, and they'll spend so much time and energy defending this religious belief. Spinning ball religion just drives me nuts, and that's why I keep on doing these videos. If you want me to stop, you globeheads, just stop commenting. Stop trying to tell me I'm wrong, because I know I'm right.
Oh, because, ignore all the science. You know you're right. So, that just negates all science. Apart from the science that allows you to use the internet and your phone and stuff, that science is fine. That's good science.
The flat Earth is so obvious. Once it's okay if you don't believe it, or you don't, it takes a while to get through, and someone points it out to you, you hear about it, you ignore it for a while, and then you can start looking into it. That's all very well, and it takes people time to deconstruct the belief. But eventually, only if you are open-minded enough, if you can, the very fact that you come along and leave these excuse me, comments of denial is just showing your inability to take things and consider them.
I swear this guy is just trolling now. So people come along to your channel and give you evidence to prove that you're wrong and misunderstood, and you shoot them down and say it's fake and don't understand it. But we're the closed-minded ones, because we won't just accept that you've gone up a hill and looked at something that's now further away. Okay. I'm going to start skipping now, because I feel this is a point that's going to continue. Oh, this looks like a good point. Whatever he's trying to point out here looks genius.
Surface and the sky to converge in the centre of your field of view from the start. On the ground. Here's a hill. Look. If there's a bulge in front of you, it goes above eye level. You understand? Yeah? The camera is level.
Listen how triggered he is.
So this is a hill.
Well done. Okay, what he's trying to say is that his perspective, everything goes to a point when it's far away. Now, that works, but what you notice is that things, when they get further away, in that respect, in the way that works, get smaller. If a boat goes over a horizon, it doesn't get smaller. The sun goes behind the horizon, it doesn't get smaller. That's proof that that sun is not moving away from me. If something is moving away from you, it will get smaller because of how what he is explaining. That's not proof that the Earth is flat. That is that's perspective, or whatever the bollocks he's trying to badly describe. it doesn't mean that object, it's not moving at like it's not disappearing. When something disappears over the curve, it's still the same size. Like a big, huge cruise ship, when it goes over the curve, it doesn't, or in his perspective to a finishing point, it doesn't get smaller. It stays the same size, disappears over the horizon. The only time things get like that is where you see the same car and you're super high up. And as that car goes away, that car will get smaller because it's going so much further away in your field of view, in what you can see.
We are shown on this circle.
Okay, that's not what you're looking at. That little drawing there, that's not what he's looking at in front of him is not what he's seeing there. It's similar, but the fact that the Earth is actually curving underneath everything. So what he's looking at there and trying to really weirdly prove is that proves that that's what should that's what he thinks should be happening in front of him. But he doesn't realise that he's always at the top of the hill. On a curved Earth, he's always at the top of the hill. He's always looking down away or down behind him. He should put himself on top of that hill and then look down. And again, he'll see that the horizon is, things on the horizon are now, some of them will have come back into view, but they're now without a further horizon point because he has got higher. Again, it's something he just doesn't understand, can't comprehend. Therefore, well, I'm just going to ignore it. Let's skip along because he's just becoming ridiculous. Let's have a little. Oh, there's a ship on the horizon there. That looks like a good point.
Ta-da! What do we have? A horizon at eye level. Okay. It might even be appearing to be lower, just because of the.
No, look, it's in the centre. It's not appearing to be lower. The sea hasn't. What's happened to the sea then? Explain it. If you're looking at it, explain it. Not just go, oh, it's eye level. There's no hump. You need to explain it. A scientist or someone who is interested wants to know why it looked at the same point. And then they work out, oh, okay, it's my vision. That's as far as I can see. When I go higher, I'm able to see more because of how the human eye works.
The kind of the base of the camera, and who knows how level this actually is, yeah?
So what's the point of putting a level line on the screen if you don't know how level something is?
But essentially, and that's the thing, it doesn't matter whether you got the other, but what we've got is a very sharply defined horizon. Okay? Yeah?
Yep, totally agree.
Alright, now look. There's a boat. Alright, there it is, okay. We're quite low, and that boat's not very far away. So
that boat is very far away. That's not like a 2-minute thing, that's quite far out to sea.
The horizon is beyond it, yeah? Alright? But look, if you compare that to the boat over there, the ship over
Did anybody notice him massively skip past the boat that's clearly over the horizon?
there. I'm not sure if you can see it in the camera. There you go. I mean, that ship appears to be on the horizon, but that could go further and further and further away, and it would remain on the horizon.
No, it wouldn't. It would disappear over the horizon. And also your P900 or whatever you're using, but the flat earth camera of choice is the P900. If you zoom in on that boat, can you get it in front? Can you get it to come in front without going higher like you've done in your little video there in the corner or your little picture? What you've done is you've got higher, so you're proving without doing these two pictures, you're proving that you're on a curve. Because the only way you can get the horizon to go above, so the boat is, you know, in front of the horizon and not on it, is to go higher. What does that prove? That you can now see more of the curve. So that boat has come forward. You go even higher again, it will get further in front of you. Notice how the boat has got slightly smaller, because it's you know, in depth, it's in a different field of view.
It probably gets to a point where it'll just get very fuzzy and we won't be able to see it. Yeah? Because it's flat. Yeah? Look at that.
You're looking, like, seriously, if you zoom in on a 10p close enough, part of it will look flat. Zoom in on a coin or any part of it, you'll get it to look flat. But, you know, if I zoom in on a basketball really closely, you'll see that it looks flat. But the only thing I have around, I'll put a picture on screen right now. Look, it's proving that you can make something look flat from the furthest from how far you look at it. And then it won't disprove that. You'll say that's pointless. But when you look at something as big as the Earth, you're looking at such a small bit that it will always look, the horizon will always look flat to you.
Okay? Really simple stuff. But this horizon that we can see at a low level, compared to what we could see higher up, is still at eye level.
Shut up about your eye level.
Flat, so it just carries on appearing flat.
Sorry, yes.
But these, if you want to represent these angles of convergence, if you did it from an external frame of reference, then if you take the angles of a triangle that are 66.6 degrees on the base, so if you 66.6 here, 66.6 here, and then what you're left with at that peak, the peak of the cone of perspective is 46.8, because all the angles in a triangle add up to 180, right? So yeah, and and you can check this with a 50mm camera. You get about the same, and the 50mm camera, the focal point is similar to the human eye.
Similar, not the same. Similar.
Okay? So the numbers you get when you consider this tunnel or cone of perspective is 66.6, 66.6, 48 point... what is it?
Wow, that's such bollocks, I can't watch anymore. What he's saying is that things go to a point. I think I've already said, when the sun goes below the horizon, it's the same size as it would be up here in his little screen as it is here. The sun should be getting smaller percentage-ly and then disappear behind, or disappear to a point. If it's moving away from you, which is what it would have to do on a flat Earth, it would have to physically move away from you. But it doesn't, it just disappears below the horizon and stays the same size. So please, prove that with perspective. Please, again, prove something. Don't just tell me and do some word salad and some number bollocks that looks impressive, or you think looks impressive. Prove something. Not a single flat earther has ever proved something. They have a go at us for coming up with theories and stuff, but someone can't just come up with a theory and it's put in a textbook. They have to come up with a theory, then they have to test that theory multiple times, get the same result. If they test that theory once and get a result, then test the same thing again in the same circumstances and get a different result, they have to wonder why, or have to rethink their original theory. What I'm saying here is prove that the sun gets smaller as it goes away. You can't. Therefore, what you've talked about here is utter bollocks. I can prove my curve Earth in multiple ways. You can't prove your flat Earth in any way. Put your camera in a balloon and let it go up. You record it yourself. Don't use a fisheye lens. When it gets to a point really high, you'll see the curve of the earth. Go to a really high point, you'll see more. Because you're higher up and your vision has increased. What you can see, your distance to the horizon is, so you can see more in a plane because you're super high up than you can see on the ground when you're looking with your eye, when you're looking out to sea. Because you're so much higher, you can see so much more with your field of view. Okay? Prove something. I beg you, Phuket Word, please prove something.